In this episode of the Danette May Show, I'm guiding you through a deep and honest reflection on your personal growth, starting with your health habits and moving into the powerful framework of the 6 core human needs. We'll uncover the unconscious stories that may be holding you back and explore how to shift them so you can start fulfilling your needs in healthy, empowering ways. If you're ready to break old patterns and step into your next level, this conversation is for you.
Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now.
Hey loves, it's Danette. I want to personally invite you to my free masterclass, From Trauma to Transformation. If you're ready to release old pain, step into your power, and heal from within, this class is for you. I'll be sharing the exact tools I use to transform my own trauma into growth and healing. Reserve your spot. Click the link in the show notes. I can't wait to see you there.
I want to just take a minute and ask you guys a few questions, let you get into introspection within yourself. How did your January go when it came to nutrition and stepping into better health practices, whether it was a morning routine or choosing to work out or eating better foods, whether it was perfection or not? That's not the question. It was, how has this journey been? A lot of you are feeling like, wow, I stepped into something. And I want to know now, what has come up from that? Choosing healing foods, working out is a very physical activity. Has there been any emotional things that have come from that? Have you felt like you're clearer in relationships or maybe clearer in your mind? My last question, and then we'll get into today's topic, is what has been the thing that you've noticed within yourself? What's been your biggest takeaway or like aha, or wow, I've stepped more into this. I'm noticing that shift within me. This is for you guys. This is for you to really introspect on what's shifted in me in this amount of time, or what did I learn, or what did I take on that I wouldn't have taken on prior? Or what's an idea or thought that I've taken on that I wouldn't have prior? These are for you to write and to own. This is my growth. This is the work I've done. This is the way I've shown up. Because you can sign up for coaching, but ultimately that doesn't mean the growth, right? So today I felt really called, because I always ask and consult, like I feel like I ask and consult spirit, like what would be of service for you guys today? Today I want to dive into the 6 higher needs that humans have and have you identify more about yourself. We're going to rewire that story, because most of us, every single one, including myself, we have a story that tends to be on loop a little bit more than other stories. And so we're going to try to identify that. What's this unconscious story that tends to play on loop within myself? Rewrite that, and then talk about the 6 higher needs that humans typically operate under. Let you identify what's those in that order of 6. Where am I at? And is it serving me? And is there a way for me to switch up these 6 so that I'm actually living a life that feels more juicy and good for me, right? So this is not a passive one. There's going to be some writing down, really looking at it, feeling into it, being present. Now, if you're listening in the background, but multitasking, doing other things, you're going to want to come back to this, because this one is going to literally change your life, but you're going to need to be present. Your brain's going to need to be turned on. You're going to need to be vulnerable within yourself and write things down. Okay. So I'm just speaking it out at the gate. I'm actually, guys, in Vail, Colorado, and I'm only sharing with you where I'm at because I'm fulfilling on one of my higher level needs that I haven't been fulfilling on. So I'm skiing with some girlfriends. I usually go skiing, but it's with my husband or more men. I've never actually ever gone on a girls' ski trip. Thing that lights me up is being active out in nature, doing something that pushes my boundaries physically in my body. And I've always wanted to do it with females. I've always wanted to have female friendships that wanted to go running or go hike that tall mountain or ski. And then after maybe sit around and be bougie and sit in a hot tub. But I want to be active. And I've always had more girlfriends that are into fashion or into shopping. And that's not really me. That's just not really like, I can do it, but it's not what really lights me up. So I'm doing fulfilling on something that feels good for me, which is this uncertainty of challenge and something new, and being with people and girls that are wanting to operate in this speed, because we're getting up early, we're going out on the slopes, it's cold, and skiing all day, and it's feeling really good. I want you to think about when you're in the quiet moments of your day, or maybe at night, is there a story that you tend to feel that keeps coming up? Or and the good way to know about this story is you may, to your closest people, talk about it. For example, some people, like this is just listen to some other people that are in my inner circle tell me what their unconscious story is. And usually it's not super positive. Usually it's like pulling you down. So, for example, it could be nobody likes me. I have a hard time making close friends. Or it could be a story of I have to prove myself for people to take me serious and that I'm smart or I can do business. For me, a story I've had is that really tight girl friendships can be difficult. There's a lot of stories that we have on loop, but if you can identify one that you're like, this one comes up quite a bit when I'm in my own private thoughts, I want you to write it down. Now, if you're like, I don't know what that is, you do, because we have a lot of stories. We have a lot of subconscious stories that are looping all the time. So think about, what do you talk about? Even if you think it's true, even if you're like, no, this is actually true. Or it could be like, my body just doesn't respond to me, or whatever the thing is, right? I'm a failure. Everything is my fault. Do you catch yourself going, oh, that wouldn't have happened. I created that. Oh man, I made it worse. Too honest and people don't like it. That's a good one. Like, I don't want to be too honest because no one's going to like it. If I really spoke what I felt, no one's going to like it. That's a really good one. I'm too old for this, because that one's very similar to a lot of people. I'm too old for this. My time has passed. Yeah. I didn't get everything done. Woo. I apologize too much. Yeah. You're like catching yourself. You're like, I keep saying sorry. I keep saying sorry. I'm always apologizing. These are good. So you can see how broad this can be because it's individual to you. And you're going to see how when we walk away, how we can flip this to be in your empowerment. How many of you say, I'm so busy, there's not enough time, right? I used to hear a lot of people say, like, they'd be like, how are you? I'm so tired. Is that a story that you're constantly saying? I'm so tired. You got to really look at it. And you guys, even if it's a story that you're coming up with now, you can do this assignment at any time and look at multiple stories that might be on loop that are coming up quite a bit in conversation or in your mind in private. So I'm going to now teach you how to flip that. Now, before I teach you how to flip this, let me just share an example. So we were sitting at the dinner table. This is prior to the girls' trip because I had another mastermind here. And there was male and female sharing. And the female shared that her story was that if she isn't contributing to something, whether it's a friendship bringing a cheese board or an idea to the table if someone's talking about business, then she's not of worth or of value to that group or friendship. So she had this story. So she has done this assignment through me a while ago and had flipped it to, actually, I am of value and people see my value. I don't always have to be the one to make sure everything's perfect, right? Because in her contribution, she wanted to just make sure she was people pleasing, right? Wanting to make sure she was important or adding something, right? So she flipped it to, people see me as a service person and understand that I care, right? Whether I bring the cheese board or not, I care. And it's interesting because she is now being perceived as that person. She still does care to contribute, but when anyone talks about this girl, whether she's there or not, they'll sometimes say she's like Mother Teresa. She's such a giving human. Just her beingness is powerful. People will say this about this girl. So when you hold an energy of what your story is in the affirmative, people will pick up on that. Does that make sense? So if you're holding a story that I can't get the right relationship, you hold a story of that, you keep attracting that energy of. Whereas if you were to flip that story and say, I actually am attracting really powerful, aligned, and loving, deep relationships. I am in deep, loving relationships, right? You will then start becoming a magnet for only deep, loving relationships. And people will start to go, Jan, whatever your name is, I'll just make up a name. Jan has, the relationships she has, they're deep. She's so respected in those relationships. You will actually start to create that loop and that energy towards you from outside viewers, as well as your internal perception of what the perspective of everything going on around you is. So I want you to start working on writing the opposite of it. And I can help you with this. I'm not very techie. You could flip this, whatever feels true for you. I'm a great delegator to very tech savvy people that help me easily. Or you can flip it to, I actually learn new things when I need to, and I'm able to figure things out that I need to get done in the tech space. You see how you can decide what feels more true for you, or you can take on both of them, which for me was both of them. I can find somebody who can do it for me with ease. And I'm also willing and able to learn these new tech things to be able to show up the way I want to communicate with people. Because for me, it was about communicating. Zoom, you might be about tech with your phone, with your loved ones. People don't listen to me. I am actually very interesting. And the right people for me actually want to listen to me. Because let's be real, not everybody's going to want to listen to you. Not everyone's going to want to listen to certain people. We are not all going to always connect with every human being we bump into, but the right ones do. And especially if you hold an energy that you're interesting and that what you have to say is important and interesting, trust me, they're going to feel that and want to lean in and listen to you when you hold that energy. So you get to flip that. I'm on a hamster wheel and can't get off. This is a flip for you. I live in joy. I do the things that bring me joy, and I am in control of my destiny. How do you flip everything is my fault? When they blame you for everything, they're blaming you for everything because you have a story that it's always your fault. So they're picking up onto it. So they're like, it's your fault. You have to start with flipping the script within you over and over every day. So you're going to read these flip scripts where you say, I live in my truth, and people take ownership for their truth, right? You say this script to yourself every day. I live in my truth, and people around me take ownership for their truth. How can anything be your fault unless people are giving up ownership for themselves? When we blame someone else for something going wrong in our lives, that's because we gave up on ownership of ourselves, our own actions, our reactions to someone else or situations. So you get to say, I am a free agent, and those around me are free agents and get to take ownership of their own stuff. And I clear all ownership of anybody else's perception. Today's my day. Or things are shifting. I'm not giving my power away anymore. Some of you just need to hear it. I just have to say it really bluntly. Okay, you guys, we're going to move on to the 6 things. So I really want you to look at this story that you're saying to yourself, take your power back, rewrite the story. Okay. So when we blaming other people outside of us for the way they're treating us, take it back. Start treating yourself better. You treat yourself better and others will follow suit, or they'll fall out. Don't be afraid of people falling out. That's so many of you are so afraid of toxic people falling out that you continue to do toxic behaviors to keep them being toxic to you. Don't be afraid of people falling out. That's their job. That's their decision. You do you, and they'll either shift and stay aligned with you and show up in the way that you're treating yourself, or they'll fall out. Let life work its magic. Don't try to control everything. Yeah. Permission. And these 6 things are going to really help you. Okay. So now I'm going to read through these 6. And these are not from me, just so you know. These are from other coaches that have been identified over time. Okay. So what are the 6 human needs? I need you guys to focus and write these down. The first one, certainty. Now, these are not in order. So you're going to discover your order based off when you hear me talk about these. Okay. So just write them down, and you're going to discover what order these are for you. Which one is number 1 for you? Which one's number 2 for you? Like, where do you put these in importance for your human needs? But these are the top 6. The first one, certainty. Assurance, you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. You just like certainty. You like to know what's coming. You like to know that you're going to be okay. All that. Okay. So certainty is one of them. Number 2, uncertainty, variety. You're always looking for the next hit, the next change, the new stimuli, the new vacation, the new friend, the new job, the new idea, right? Everyone needs uncertainty to some degree, and they also need certainty to some degree. Third, significance, feeling unique, feeling important, feeling special, feeling needed. We can all agree on that one, right? And as I'm reading these, be thinking, which one really is, oh, that's so me. And you can write these down and then start putting them in order as I'm going through these. Number 4, connection and love. You desire a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. Doesn't need to be with another human. It might be with an animal or to a project, right? You need connection and love. And when you didn't, for some of you who have that as one of their first main human needs, the last 2 years has been very difficult when there wasn't a lot of connection and people time going on. Number 5, growth. Every human needs growth. This is expansion on capacity, capability, or understanding, learning new things, just expanding in all areas, right? Growth. And then the last one, contribution. a sense of service, a sense of focus on helping or giving to and supporting others. Okay. So let's read through these again. You're going to write them down: certainty, uncertainty or variety. 3, significance. 4, connection and love. 5, growth. And 6, contribution. Okay. So I'm going to help you. So now I want you to figure out, what order are these in my life? Which one is like my biggest need because it's showing up all the time? Like I'm making these certain decisions because it's one of my highest needs, all the way down. Okay. This is going to help you discover, who am I and how am I operating, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. Because the more we get to know who we are, we can decide what we want to shift. How am I operating in my day to day based off my subconscious choices and decisions and thoughts? And how can I actually flip it to be in more alignment of who I want to become and who I actually do feel I am, not based off my conditioning? Because these 6 human needs, trust me, they've been set up in your highest needs of desire based off your childhood, based off things that have happened to you. For example, if you lived in a very uncertain household as a child where parents were fighting and you weren't even sure if when the next meal was going to come or when the next peaceful moment was going to come, guaranteed you're somebody who desires heavily certainty. You're looking for peace. You're looking to avoid any negativity, right? You want certainty. Now, the same can go on the other side. If you are there was so much rigidity in your childhood, it was like every rule needed to be placed and you had to do everything by the book. And everything was super certain all the time. And there was just like no variety and no room for flying and making mistakes. You most likely need some uncertainty. That's more me. And we'll go down through these, okay? So I'm going to let you, as I read through these and go deeper into it, of like how that might show up in your life. I just gave you 2 examples. You're going to decide, where is my order? What's this 6 order within myself? And you're going to start writing them down. Certainty. Now, if this is your core need, if this is number 1 for you, you need to feel secure and safe about your future. This typically has to do with relationships and money, finances, right? When you receive positive recognition, it may be accompanied by a need for a certainty that the recognition is authentic and will continue. Have you ever noticed that? If you're going to get something positive, you're like, whoa, I need to know this is authentic and I need to know that I'm going to continue to get it. For certainty, people needs to stay the same. They're very routine. They like to know what they're having for dinner. They like dinner at the same time. They like to know. And you typically want to control your environment. You don't like things to change unexpectedly, right? You try to avoid new situations or people because they're too uncertain. You can't control it. Okay. How do you tell if this is a core need? You are trustworthy and always do what you say you'll do. You enjoy planning, thrive on schedule, and are very organized, right? You're hesitant to take risks and have new experiences. You may fall into addictive or obsessive behaviors. This is how you can tell if this is a core need. How do you fulfill a need for certainty? Find activities that you enjoy, but that also push you slightly out of your comfort zone. Incorporate healthy and empowered routines in your life. Okay. But we'll get into how to fulfill on that in just a minute. I really want you to just understand who you are and like, where does this fall? Uncertainty. Okay, if you're a person who seeks and it's a core value to have uncertainty, this can be very played out, very extreme in someone's life. They want new jobs. They're in constant new relationships, or they'll unconsciously sabotage relationships so that there's variety, maybe fights, maybe a little like newness happening, or maybe a new relationship. If it's a core value, sometimes these people take unnecessary risks, right? They just do it for the thrill. They want that adrenaline jolt, even though it causes a little bit of pain and it's super uncomfortable. For example, people that constantly are making decisions that create drama in their life, this is the extreme side of it. They'll get in fights with people, they'll say things, and there's always something going on that's quite dramatic, or someone's in a fight, or someone said this. There's an adrenaline with that. So be honest with yourself if you're that person. However, if uncertainty is one of your top 6 human needs, you'll be unafraid of taking risks and will not avoid new situations. Okay. It has a flip side. So just decide, are you someone who's constantly needing to shift things up? Let me tell you how to tell if this is one of your core needs. You're genuinely outgoing and like meeting new people. You're always willing to do something new and have many interests. You can be unfocused and lack planning skills and perhaps push people away in relationships. Okay. Now, what I would do on your side of the sheet, because I just covered two, decide if your basic human need is more certainty or uncertainty for now. Just see if one resonated more within you than the other and just write it down to the side. Now we're going to go into significance. If significance is one of your top 6 human needs, then you love to receive recognition. You need words of affirmation. You want to feel seen, you want to feel heard, and you want to feel listened to. Okay. You want to be noticed. It's an important thing for you. And there's nothing wrong with any of these, you guys. Just so you know, these are just for you to identify what one is driving you the most. Okay. You measure significance by what you believe makes you unique compared to everyone else around you. Significance and recognition gives you a sense of validation that makes you feel seen, make special, or needed. Okay. Let me tell you how you can tell if this is one of your main core ones. You're highly driven to be successful and love setting and reaching goals. You're committed to a cause or several causes, right? Others tell you that you stand out. You can be overly competitive, perfectionistic, or dramatic. Now, what I want you to do is look at uncertainty, certainty, now significance. Is significance ranking a little higher than one of them? Put it up higher. Okay. Because we're going to go through these and see which one's driving you right now. Which one is really coming to the surface right now. Now we're going to go into connection and love.
Hey, love, Danette May here. I've got a little surprise that just might make your day brighter. To celebrate you and the powerful sisterhood forming around the Danette May Show, I'm giving away 3 $100 Visa gift cards just to say thank you. Entering is simple. Step 1, follow the podcast, The Danette May Show. Step 2, share it on your socials and tag me at the Danette May. Bonus entries if you share each day because your voice matters and every share spreads more love, healing, and empowerment into the world. On Tuesday, May 13th, we'll randomly choose 3 winners and send you a DM if you've won. So go ahead, share, tag, and let's spread the vibes of transformation together.
If connection and love is your top basic human need, you're constantly seeking out close relationship with someone or something. It gives you deep pleasure and meaning. So you're desiring fulfilling relationships. But also the flip side is it can cause you to lack self-care for yourself because you're so enthralled in other people and maintaining relationships and partnership because it's so important to you to maintain that connection and love that you're willing to sacrifice yourself. Now, how you can tell if this is one of your core needs. Loyalty and generosity with those you love are your top values. You give freely and others find you trustworthy. You have strong social ties, but you can sometimes lose your sense of self and find it hard to say no. Now, we've gone through 3 of them. So see if love and connection is even higher for you versus certainty, uncertain, significance. See where this fits. Or maybe one of them's already just still staying at the top. Growth. Now, for those who this is their core value, they're always striving to be better and to learn more. They're very good at their jobs, but tend to move on as quickly as soon as they believe they reach their full potential. Because once they've reached their full potential, they need to go to the next growth thing that causes like a challenge, right? Through their constant striving for betterment ensures they will never be bored. They can err on the side of perfectionism and neglect the rest and relaxation they need to keep stress levels manageable, right? Now, how you can tell if this is one of your top core needs is you're always pushing boundaries, both your own and those set for you. You're very independent and are not attached to material things. You may find it hard to connect with others and move on too quickly from relationships. Now, someone that typically has this as their core value, their childhood was one where nothing was ever good enough. If they got straight A's, and not everyone, this is their core value, if this was their past, but if this might help some of you to figure out if this is you. If you're always pushing boundaries and nothing's ever really good enough, or if you've reached something, you've got to go on to the next one, but it's to your detriment, like it's like taking away from your adrenaline and your nervous system is fried and you have a hard time resting, it might be because nothing was ever good enough as a child. And you, even though you excelled, there was always your parents were like, you have more in you. There's more for you. Okay. Contribution. So figure out if that one is your main one. Now we're going on to the last one. For those who this is their core value, they believe that the secret to living is giving. And those who experience contributing as one of their top 6 human needs know this better than anyone. If you have a need to contribute, you will likely make a big difference in your community. However, you can lose sight of the fact that giving begins at home and neglect those closest to you as you change the world. Okay. Now, how you can tell if this is one of your core needs is you are extremely empathetic. and you're compassionate. And it's usually on a more of a global scale. You enjoy giving back and sharing what you have. You want to leave a legacy, yet you may burn out easily and be taken advantage of by others. So I just gave you a mouthful of all these, these just different 6 needs. Do you guys have one that's just standing out as your core? Yeah. And you might have a second one too that you're like, yeah, that's close second. Can't even decide if one or two is the main one. And that's totally fine. So I want you to like list, and if you can only list 3, great. And you're like, I can't tell what the last 3 would really be there. I'll feel blended. That's totally fine too. As long as you have your top 3, it's going to really help you to really identify who am I and how am I governed and making decisions. Because if you find yourself constantly going, I'm so frustrated with how people are treating me. I'm so frustrated with feeling this lack of being seen and heard, or I'm so frustrated with feeling like I never do enough, or there's not enough time. That's giving power away. That's you looking at life as if everything's happening to you instead of for you, right? There's no control and you're just giving it out, right? So being able to look at this is for you to take an ownership and go, ooh, this is why I do this, because this is a human need for me. Okay. Now, some of these human needs you guys have as your core are serving you. They're serving you. They're actually adding to your life. So you get to look at these 3 or these 4 or 1 and go, is this need, and I'm just going to use an example, is this need for certainty? Am I really too controlling? Am I trying to control everything? Or am I actually really balanced and I have like good boundaries and I know what's coming and I'm really organized, but it's not getting in the way because I'm not trying to control everything. So you need to look at that. And if you're like, you know what, this need to be certain is coming from a wound from my childhood and I'm constantly controlling everything and my nervous system's a little fried, you get to decide that you're going to change things up a little bit. You're going to go, I'm going to put myself in some uncertain situations that feel somewhat comfortable, but I'm going to challenge this a little bit because I don't want to be so rigid all the time. If anyone's ever told you, you're so rigid, can you just loosen up? Listen and go, okay, I'm going to dance with this a little bit because we get to, right? So first identify, does it serve me? Because I always think of a battery. There's a positive and negative charge. Neither one's good or bad. It's just if one is doing too much, the battery doesn't actually work. So really looking at yourself like that. It's not bad if you want certainty, and it's not bad if you want uncertainty. It's when it becomes imbalanced and it's actually not adding to your life and the fulfillment around you and you're giving your power away. So you get to pull back. Okay. So for example, no one can argue that contribution is a beautiful thing. Someone who's giving and thinking about humanity and is empathetic, but if they are losing themselves or their loved ones in their own sphere of circle, like for example, I've had people give millions that I've met, millions to charities in Africa, but are completely rude to the person sitting next to them that they barely know. Can you see where that disconnect is? I've seen it firsthand and it's appalling. It's wow, people have put you here because you and have driven millions of dollars to great causes around the world. You are so rude to the person. That's humanity too, right? That person sitting next to you, you're so rude. So you got to look at that. Like he would, like this individual, if I were able to coach him, I would have told him, I would have been like, hey, humanity's that one person too. And you're losing sight. You're getting so out there that you're just forgetting that one. So really look at that. Do you want to look at that for a minute? Take your first one, ask yourself, am I on the positive charge or the negative charge? Is this serving me or is it causing a little bit of less so I'm not in full charge, full throttle, a little off? And then what can I do to start adding? So for example, if certainty was your main core, how you can help with this, if it's a little off balance, right? It's one, find activities that you enjoy, but that also push you slightly out of your comfort zone. You want to incorporate healthy and empowering routines into your life and give back to others to promote growth and contribution in a consistent way. So that's a good way for you to balance that a little bit. Okay, if your human core is uncertainty, it's an out of balance, feed your mind regularly with a variety of new information. Because when it's out of balance, it's you searching in new relationships or a new job, and it's creating you going all over the place, right? Because you just want it. So absorb new information, switch up your exercise routine, eat new foods, try new foods, like find ways to get uncertainty and variety in really contained spaces, right? take classes with new people. And I'm loving this because I'm coaching myself in this. I love uncertainty, but if I'm not getting enough of it, I can pick a little bit of a fight or I can try to find a problem, right? Because I like a little jolt. I need a little adrenaline. This is why girls ski trip's good for me. I get the adrenaline on the mountain, then I don't need to create it somewhere else, right? It's not really what I want. I don't want a jolt in my business or a jolt in my personal relationship. Going and playing a sport for some of you who are athletic will be such an uncertainty, a bit playing on the court, that it just feeds you enough that you're not creating unnecessary drama in your life. Learn to ignite passion in your life and relationships, basically. Okay. Now, if significance is your main thing and it's a little off balance, right? You're always looking for someone to validate you and you're never feeling enough unless you're doing something. That's not like negative, right? Channel your competitive nature into healthy activities by learning a new sport or skill by volunteering. Okay. Work on your people skills to become a more well-rounded leader. Commit to total mastery of your profession or career. So it's basically just try to find things that are new for you that you can excel at, but it's not like the whole world has to know about it. For example, pick up pickleball or something. Try something new because no one's going to care if you're the pickleball champ, right? But it still feels good to you. Figure out how you can learn other skills to become more of a well-rounded leader. Connection and love, how to fulfill this need, right? In a healthy way. Be willing to be vulnerable and create deeper, more meaningful friendships. Now, what that means is where can you share that you maybe give up yourself to save this relationship? And where can they support you so that you don't give up everything, right? Yourself and ask and just say, hey, I really want to keep this relationship and I love you so much, but I'm like sacrificing myself. So I need your support in this. Communicate your needs to your partner to improve intimacy. Maybe you aren't giving up on yourself, but you're like, I don't feel fulfilled and it's so important. I want to feel seen. I want to feel really deep, intimate love with this person. You need to communicate with them. If this is one of your top things and it's not getting the energy that you need to say, can we do some eye gazing? Can we connect and talk? I need to actually talk before making love or whatever. Just communicate what you need in intimacy. Intimacy means into me, I see. Into me, I see. When you look into someone else, you see yourself. Intimacy. So you have to decide. You guys have to write these things out that this is my thing. This is what I'm going to step into this year. More of this. And where can I find that class? Where can I learn that sport? Where can I read more information? Where can I connect in nature? Be your rescue. Be your healer in that. Okay. Own it and step into it. Growth. How you fulfill this need. Develop your growth mindset even further by challenging yourself to not only learn, but truly master a difficult skill. Don't forget emotional and spiritual growth. So examine your limiting beliefs if you're someone like this. Like you need to examine these limiting beliefs that are keeping you feeling like there's never enough. Learn to control your emotions and take up meditation. Take up meditation if you need to step more into meditation every day, which is truly one of the most underrated things in my mind that we can all be doing to take all of our lives to the next level. Just 15 minutes of meditation a day, 10 minutes, massive. But we get into the habit and then we pull out and get in. We just stay consistent with it. We're going to see the benefits. Okay, contribution. Giving back is the best way to fulfill this need. Yes. Don't just join a volunteer group, start your own. Like push the edge even more if that's the direction you need to go. The closer the cause is to your heart, the more fulfilled you will feel. But at the same time, if you feel like your intimate relationships are sacrificing, spend some time with those intimate relationships. If you feel like you are on this grand scale, but you can't be nice to the person next to you, look at what you can do to look at that person or be present with the people in your one-on-one space. Where can I be more present with those one-on-one spaces? Because that's contribution. How do you guys feel? 10 being like, whoa, I learned something today. And 1 being like, I am completely lost. All right. Yeah. But today I felt really called for meaty. Like you need to get into some meat work within yourself and see where do I need to take some ownership? Where do I need to take some responsibility? Because I'm looking at my outside things and I'm getting frustrated. I'm really proud of you. And this is something that might start to rummage through your mind over the next few days. If something pops up, write it down. You have to understand coaching, any meditations I do with you or coaching I do with you, it's not just this moment. It's not just this hour. Things are going to come and flow and come in moments where you're just laying down or you're out walking outside or just sitting and you're like, whoa, that thought came through. and take a moment to write it down, to jot it down, and then come back to it if you need to, depending on the situation you're in. I love you guys. And it's been a privilege to talk with you today, coach with you. And I really hope that you can find one thing that you take on that brings that charge, your battery of who you are, in more like the perfect frequency, so that you're feeling, I feel really like I know my power, and I'm being honest with my power, and I'm being honest where I give it away, because we're all going to give it away at some point. I'm getting better at it, and I'm reeling it back, and I'm owning it, and I'm stopping the blame. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Keep growing, being kind to yourself, patient as you're in these transitions, especially if you've been eating really clean. Be patient, because you're expanding. You're seeing things more clear, and some of that clarity doesn't always feel good, but it's necessary. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Are you struggling with hair loss, or is your hair just not growing like it used to? We have the answer to help you reach your hair loss goals. Most people saw up to a 40% improvement in just the first month. The main ingredient has 37 innovation awards and 9 global patents. I am talking about the Swiss ingredient, Anagain New, which is clinically proven to regrow hair. Purality Health harnesses this amazing ingredient and paired it with their patented liposomal technology to bring you one of the most groundbreaking hair supplements on the market today. Liposomal hair renewal is clinically proven to push more of your hair follicles into the anagen phase, unlocking thicker, healthier hair all over your head. Purality Health's new fast-absorbing, great-tasting hair renewal formula is powered by Anagain New, a clinically proven hair regrowth extract found in Swiss pea sprouts. This natural compound is highly regarded in the beauty and wellness industry, particularly for its proven benefits in promoting healthy hair growth and addressing hair loss. And right now, you can get this delectable hair renewal at a special discount for Danette May subscribers, because you deserve amazing hair.